Just it's quick housekeeping. Have we started the show?
It's just 2 p.m., Mercy. You haven't even given me a chance.
5 seconds.
Yeah, because I want to tell Josh F that like you have to turn off your camera if we are starting.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, it's just in terms of spotty internet, so maybe I can just hop on as a guest, whenever.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, sure. But like this is a family session, so there isn't actually any guests. Everyone's just gonna pop in and just talk and say hello. So yes, people, welcome to the AfroFinLab. We are finally here at episode 20.
20.
Wow. 2020.
This is December 2020, episode 20. Yeah, so today we're just going to be discussing all of the developments we've been excited about in the blockchain space this year. I guess, not going too deep, maybe just like go around in a circle, talk about it, and then we'll also be discussing our hopes and fears for 2021. So we were just discussing developments like blockchain identity, analogies which are useful when talking to people who are new to the blockchain system. So I don't know if anyone wants to just start off, like what is the most exciting thing that's happened for you in blockchain this year?
Yeah, I'll start.
Yeah.
Just one quick one. The most exciting thing in blockchain that happened to me was finding Sydney in the chat at the Shelley Summit in July. And then following up with a conversation that took, I don't know, a couple hours. And then Josh was on the next one. And next thing you know, we were talking all the time and saying, hey, we should record these conversations. So I want to thank you guys for that experience.
Here we are.
Oh man,
yeah, it's been amazing to come together.
I guess I should. Okay, DC, go on.
Oh no, please, Josh, go ahead.
Yo, so I mean, for me, the most exciting thing is actually building. Because first, right now, the most exciting thing is building because I started out learning. Just trying to understand. I'm still learning actually, trying to understand what this technology is. And then when I had like a little understanding, I knew it was not just for me. I need to let everybody know. So that was exciting. But I started building like this year mostly, and then after meeting you guys too was exciting for me. If I wasn't really this is the thing I was thinking of in my head. If I don't do anything, if I hadn't like pushed forward to actually build or actually learn or teach people, I probably wouldn't be here right now, building the next DeFi, next big thing on Cardano, but I just keep pushing, and then I'm having like these great relationships, meeting new people, amazing people, and then that's actually very important and actually exciting for me. And for next year, I just just keep moving. We just have to keep moving, and we'll meet the right people come along, and then we'll build something really awesome for for the world.
It's amazing. Yeah, I'll go in and say, I think Cardano governance and just watching Project Catalyst has been the coolest part of this year for me. I think that this entire community and the Cardano ecosystem is, ready to take this network to the next level. And I think we're going to see, apps like Liquid and Cardano, maybe in ABCD. I think that all of these AfroFinLab, like all of these projects, WADA, are going to come along and just create beautiful experiences in 2021 and beyond. I'm blessed and grateful to have met you all. Specifically, our co-founders, Josh and Tashoma. Like it's not every day you meet people who you're ready to, run a startup with and, just really put it all on the line with. And these guys are amazing. And it's a testament to kind of our team and where we are now, because I think that from where we started and just like looking at those days with Josh and, on the hour with him, just really trying to understand what Nigeria and what the pain points, you guys experience are now. And I think the one thing is having the understanding and really the humility to know that, Josh is someone who lives in Africa and understands these issues more than IOHK, more than myself as someone who's a consultant and tries to build software, right? Like, no one is going to be able to build a better system to speak and to answer, local solutions and problems better than Josh, or better than someone who's actually on the ground. So I think that keeping that in mind, and, just being a part of AfroFinLab and what we're building here is, really hitting that key target user, that African dev, that African entrepreneur who wants to be a part of, the Web3 movement. I think that moving into 2021, it's clear that this is going to scale up. There's a whole bull market that's coming, and we all know it's led by institutional money this time. It's not retail money. So I think that Africa and Nigeria being such a key part of that in the future is going to be huge, and AfroFinLab is going to scale, right alongside that. So I'm excited.
I think I'm going to add to that. For this year, I think that it will be a catalyst for me, in terms of actually making some of the thoughts and some of the ideas that, for me personally, I've had running around in my head, for it to actually begin to find some legs, right? And definitely, if it wasn't for Catalyst, I wouldn't have met you all. And just picking up from what DC said, I just feel so blessed, like I'm just thinking, wow, look at all these really, really smart people. And, I have a seat right at that table. So, I am not going to mention names right now, like it's everybody, it's everybody. And as I said, I feel really, 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 really blessed to be part of this. For next year.
You're going to make me cry. This is so too much.
No, seriously. Yesterday I was going to put, like a message in the group WhatsApp a chat, just to express my appreciation just to be here, and how everybody is just so amazing. For next year, I just, every time I think about like next year, the things that are happening. The other time we're having a chat, and I was like, all this while I was able to keep track, okay, I know where Cardano is. I know what's going on. And then in December, all of a sudden, like there are so many things coming out that I'm almost feeling left behind in terms of knowing exactly what's happening. So I just feel like, as we enter into 2021, we will just need each other more than ever before. And I think that the blockchain industry is just an industry that really it humbles you, because it's not like you're going to go off and do anything or everything by yourself. You need people, so you're actually forced to work with people. And as I said, I feel grateful for you all, because together, it's the network effect that like we are bigger together than each separate one of us. So yeah, that's my little speech.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, nice.
I'm just gonna. I feel like I'm gonna be repeating a lot of what everyone else said, but yeah, just the connections that have been made in the past 4 or 5 months has been crazy, and yeah, I think the fact that we all kind of joined the AfroFinLab with like a shared sense of purpose and like where we want this to go, and seeing that manifest into like where we are now. We've got like all these amazing projects, ABCD. We got Flipping Liquid, we got Project Maybe, and they're all like, featured within the Catalyst project, like all of us, like we're all doing like really big things. I'm so excited to see where 2021 goes. In terms of like developments, I'd love to see it in, start to be implemented. There's more like, more of a, like governmental structures that, we're starting to see in Catalyst now, but extended to projects like AfroFinLab, like when that stuff becomes like more accessible and we can start to offer it to our audiences and our viewers, that's when I think we're really gonna start to make moves, So yeah. Sydney, jump in, man. Josh, jump in.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in real quick and just echo what everybody else has said so far. Honestly, the biggest thing for me has been AfroFinLab, because I've been in this space for a long time now. There's no doubt in my mind, because I'm an early adopter, and I learned a long time ago that it really doesn't matter how smart you are. That has very little bearing on the quality of life that you can create for yourself and for your family. What does matter, and maybe a little bit of this revolves around, how smart you are, just basically getting in front of a wave. And all of us are in front of the wave, because I missed, in a sense, the internet wave. I was there at the beginning, building websites back in the 1990s, but didn't kind of stay with it, and I kind of missed that wave a little bit. But I know that I'm on this wave, and I know that all of us are going to do really well. Um, but the relationships that I've been able to create through AfroFinLab, I mean, everybody feels like family to me. You know what I mean? And I know these relationships are going to continue on, and everybody's going to do well financially. And I think what's even more exciting than all of us doing well financially is that we're going to offer a tremendous amount of social good, because we're all on the same page. Like, yeah, we know we're going to be all right, but we're really looking to do something bigger.
Exactly.
So yeah, so I'm really excited about that. We're all on the same page about that, and it's really a blessing to have, come into contact, attracted this wonderfulness in my life, because you guys are amazing.
Yeah, I'll just re-echo some of that as well. It's a resurgence, some of the people who were involved in blockchain in the earlier days now and have seen the ups and downs, really now is at this point where we're coming together and we're building those bridges between everyone's different experiences. And the fact that you can go in the past and see some of your past past experiences in different companies and say, okay, I can actually bring that into what we're doing now. And when that's connected between everyone else's, it can really be something special. So yeah, shout out to Shoma for bringing me into the fold, and yeah, lovely to be here.
Wicked. So this is actually just going to be like a really short family session. We don't have any guests lined up today. It's the holidays as well, so we just wanted to just to regather and regroup. Is there anything that you feel could possibly throw a wrench in the works, into the development of Cardano currently? What are the potential risks for 2021, and how can we mitigate them?
I think the one potential risk that I see is not expanding the African operations on IOHK side, and not just IOHK either. I mean, you need to expand on their side, but you need to start, get off zero from Foundation Emergo side of things as well. So I get, the brand refresh, I get all of that, but if the mission and the brand's all going to be, Africa first is the model for Cardano, and the solutions that IOHK is trying to implement, I think that you have to scale up, especially West Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, operations in those places. And it's just gonna be resources from all three of those entities. It's gonna be catalyst funding to groups like Mercy's WADA. It's gonna be, more nonprofits, more public-private partnerships forming, and then trying to go after catalyst funding. But I mean, I think POA, as well, another route through ABCD, these are all routes to get grassroots funding through Africa. Even AfroFinLab, we'll be able to provide and create DeFi content that's specific to all the different upcoming financial applications on Cardano, so that you'll be able to engage with them safely as a user. Having that is directly the type of, resource, a commitment that IOHK needs to naturally scale itself up. If they're not going to directly hire, resources in Nigeria, in South Africa, in Ghana, they need to at least fund the community that's willing to create that content, willing to do that groundwork, because otherwise it's kind of just words, you know what I mean? And I think that 2021's biggest risk is certainly IOHK not delivering in their key market, which is and has always been Africa, and rightfully so, right?
Hey DC, I have a question for you. Is that something that we can do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are we just? I mean, and when I say that, I mean to the scale that you're talking about with the foundation and IOG and Emergo. You know what I mean? Where we take the lead in making sure, because I mean we already have Josh and Mercy, and we're like the content. It's not just this opportunity inside of like the continent, but we're recognizing that this is a moment in history in general for
Absolutely.
Africans and the diaspora. And as much as I love what Cardano is, it's not that. You know what I mean? This is happening. You know what I mean? In a different universe than where Cardano is being built. And in a sense, we're kind of tying together those those two universes or multiverses. I mean, this is a serious question to you. Is that something that we could pull together? The people, the resources, and let them know, hey, now there's an infrastructure in place where we can facilitate these relationships so that we can take the next step.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that the way you think about it is the macro and the micro, right? So Cardano is building this macro level, decentralized global infrastructure. Anyone can build and deploy on top of it. But what we don't have right now are the micro kind of implementation teams, the WADAs, the MFR consultants, the firm that I work with, and the networks that we have, and across Africa, across nations in sub-Saharan Africa, to say, hey, we can go to different government leaders across regions and say, do you want to implement decentralized identity? If you do so, these are the apps you can build on top of it that allow your users to do X, Y, Z, maybe pay their utilities and maybe certify that they got some degree so that they can get a job more easily. Maybe collect data on some of their, just resident feedback in a more streamlined way. There's many different things that a government wants to do in terms of connecting identity to its residents so that they can do X, Y, Z with their data and with their information, right? Or with their access to a certain service, right? And we know this because that's kind of the main kind of public service, government to citizen relationship, right? So coming to firms and saying, do you want to implement a solution like this is one thing, but having the resources to actually do that work, like having, Mercy's group with WADA saying, we can actually be in Ghana, have boots on the ground, talking to, maybe the largest, water municipalities or the largest, regional governments to say, hey, all of your citizens should implement this to make paying the electric utility bill is just much easier. A local solution at the micro level, using this macro global level infrastructure, I think that's always going to be the way that wins. And I live in Philadelphia. I think the same thing here. My consulting firm is definitely going to try to build and launch applications that are directly, using Cardano's blockchain to verify identity, to verify ownership of an address, or even a token roll to do a certain thing or service. So there's all of these different means, and they're just going to all be using Atala, Prism, and Cardano. But the consulting firms, the nonprofit agencies, the devs, the organizations that are going to actually implement them, I'm saying that I think those need to be folks who have boots on the ground in Africa, or at least have direct connections and a working network in Africa. Otherwise, you're trying to build solutions from America that don't really work for the users on the ground.
Right.
It's all about the actual end user, right? That's what it all comes down to. Josh, I think you're about to hop in.
Yeah, definitely. Cardano is talking. Charles is talking about Africa a lot, and I understand that, right? They already have connections in Ethiopia and also somewhat in South Africa as well. But you have a whole, you have sub-Saharan region, right? In Nigeria, we have 200 million people, and believe me, like the whole community, the Cardano community in Nigeria has grown exponentially, right? From the last time, my own community just in Port Harcourt is like 300 people, right? So, and I'm actually trying to build, I've tried to connect with these entities, the three arms of Cardano, all three of them, and it just feels as though, oh yeah, we want to do this, but it's not really a priority. But then like CEO comes on and talk about it like it's a priority, and we're not just saying we want to do something. It got to a point where we said, you know what, capitalist fund is coming. We're not going to stop. We are actually doing what we said we want to do at our own expense. So we're using POA to actually fund what we're doing. And it's not like, we're not trying to say, oh, we need money from you. We just need the support. I understand why it's hard to actually connect with people to extend this technology down here and allow for people to get onboarded into the system. But I see what they're doing. But just like what DC said, we have to respect the place of like allowing community members on ground to actually be given like these roles to actually speak to the people. You know, I know we can't fork community, but we need to learn how to communicate and connect with communities, existing communities down here. You know, so in that regards, yeah, if we don't connect to communities on ground, it's really gonna be. I mean, what? Why are you building? You know, like why are you try? Why you talk if you can't really connect with the people that are gonna use it? So yeah, that might be a problem in the
Yeah,
future.
I'm worried that, you know, all of these updates and developments that we have within the Cardano community is just like an echo chamber. Like, I don't know if it really reaches outside of the Cardano community effectively enough. And I don't know if IOHK is, you know, working on that specifically with their marketing.
You know,
Or maybe.
oh, go ahead, Joe.
No, I mean, I wanted to say, or maybe they're waiting for like the whole phases to get complete before they connect with communities. I'm not sure. But if you say that, they already connect with Ethiopia, right? So what is stopping them from expanding? You know, if you're talking about Africa, Ethiopia is like half of Nigeria. You know, Nigeria is 200 million people. Ethiopia is like 100 million people. So you're not really covering Africa. Yeah, you've been saying Africa for like 2 years now, but it's just Ethiopia, really. You know, so.
And if you don't talk about the continental free trade area, then you're not talking about anything as it relates to the continent, because that is hands down the largest event, you know, in modernity that will that Africa will experience. I mean, all of the you know, the problems that came with colonialization are starting to fade away, and Africans on the continent are going to be able to trade with each other, and they're already inviting folks from the diaspora to return home. You know, and they label it that way. That's the type of language that they use. So I think like what I see is like it's just it's really big, you know, and it's big not just for people who are of you know, live on the continent or are considered to be Africans in the diaspora, but I really believe that that it's important for the African spirit, the African soul to stand up and make its you know, presence you know, heard and felt you know, in relationship with all other, you know, cultural spirits. Like our like what we bring to the table is necessary, I think, for the world, even though the rest of the world might not recognize that because of you know, just you know, miseducation basically of everybody. And so like this whole Cardano to me is, or Cardano in the blockchain ecosystem in general, is just it's an infrastructure. It's like they're like roadways, you know, and now we get to decide what we you know, the type of information or the type of goods and services that we move across those roadways. But it's important for us to like reclaim you know, what we, I think what we feel we are, that's not being fairly or accurately represented on the world stage.
Yeah, and I think that we also have to, you know, like on top of that, you know, in you know, like any endeavor for there to be success, there actually has to be, you know, whoever we are trying to bring into or listen to our message. I mean, it doesn't matter. Nobody is altruistic enough that they will say that, oh yeah, we just want to do it for Africa's sake, right? We have to also message it in terms of what is in it for whoever, like what's in it for them. And I think I would really want to come back to what DC and Josh just said, because, you know, like talking is really easy. It's easy to talk. Sometimes, you know, like as DC said, the main thing is the implementation, like how are we going to do it? So it's just easy for us to, you know, go on Twitter and just, oh, Africa, you know, Africa. And then 2021 just goes by and it's like, we really didn't do a whole lot, right? I like what John O'Connor said during the last update in terms of, you know, like when it comes to Africa and the way we can message it for people to realize that it's not just about Africa, it's also a benefit for the Cardano ecosystem. Is the fact that it's the incremental benefit, right? In terms of investing or paying attention to Africa. Because, and in a way, it also comes back to the discussion that we're having earlier about money and, okay, so Bitcoin, is it, how do we message, you know, blockchain, whether it's Bitcoin or whether it's Cardano, how do we message it? In the Western world, you know, the reason that people might be messaging a Bitcoin or blockchain in terms of money, or even in terms of Visa, is because, you know, like that is where the opportunity is, right? It is in terms of money, you know, investing, you know, Visa. When we go back to Africa, it's just first principles. It's what John, you know, Connor was saying, is what Josh is saying. It's like there is nothing. As Josh said, every sector is ripe for disruption, right? So that is where we can get our biggest bang for our bucks. You know, like we start, you know, as DC was saying, you know, like identity. Okay, who is who? Let's find out who is who in this. So we do identity. There's a lot of opportunity there for Cardano. We do ownership. Who owns what? So there's a lot of opportunity there for Cardano. After that, we can start trading. A lot of opportunity there. Even building a stock, you know, a stock exchange, like it's like what we have in Africa right now is just infinitesimal as compared to what's in the West in terms of stock exchange. Let's look at, you know, like global markets, you know, like our natural resources. The value that is in Africa is I don't even want to say if it's like, sorry, Josh.
I was just going to say it's unmatched.
Exactly. You know, like there's all this value in Africa and in West Africa that is not being captured in global markets. So at the end of the day, you know, it's a win, it's a win for everybody. And to go back to what DC was saying, how is Cardano, you know, like in terms of IOG, in terms of Cardano Foundation, in terms of Emergo, how can we really concentrate the effort and really make this happen in Africa? Project Catalyst is fantastic. But right now, we don't even know how the voting is going to go. All right, we don't know whether all these projects that are Africa-centric are even going to be funded. So in this sense, I feel like there has to be, you know, from these three entities, there has to be a focused a way, you know, as Sydney is saying, you know, as the structures of colonialism is coming down, there has to be a focused way to get it. You know, like there's a place for Project Catalyst. I mean, you know, WADA has benefited immensely participating in Project Catalyst, but I don't think that is all. There actually has to be money, time, supports, you know, like it has to be a targeted outside of Project Catalyst to actually do the things that, you know, Josh is saying, you know, regarding Nigeria, Ghana, and the, you know, West Africa and the rest of Africa. There is immense opportunity there. If we are not careful with all the excitement coming out of Cardano, 2021 will just fly by and it will be like, where did the time go and what did we do?
So this is my question to the team. Like, and I'm not saying this or asking this to be, you know, contrarian, but why is IOG, Cardano Foundation, and Emergo important to anything that's happening on the continent in Africa?
So I am going to throw something very quickly in here before anybody answers that. You know, when in 2015, when Cardano was minted, you know, or ADA was minted, there were a lot of money you know, like a lot of tokens that went into these three entities. So even on top of anything or apart from anything, there's a lot of financial capacity in there that can, I mean, like with IOG, they've done it some good work. And with Emergo, you know, they're doing their best. But I think that there's still a lot of capacity in the foundation that could, you know, it's not just about the money, you know, even oversight for projects, you know, let's get these projects started and all that. Anyway, sorry, I'll give somebody else the chance to talk.
I think part of the reason why, you know, I'm trying to hold them responsible, they are the custodians of this technology, right? And they always preach Africa. So if it's something that's built for like the continent, then they are responsible to, you know, I mean, they need to be held accountable for how, you know, operations are being handled in respect to the continent that's so talked about regarding the technology. But then now I'm thinking about it, I guess with things like Project Catalyst or voting and funding, right? We have like an opportunity there. Let's say WADA gets voted in, right? And then WADA receives funding or I get voted in. It is going to have a ripple effect. Now we're showing Africans that, hey, you can actually write a proposal up and then put it on, you know, you can get voted in and you build what you want to build. No one entity has control over how the funds is distributed once it's decentralized, right? So we have an opportunity, if you think about it in the future, we have an opportunity for next year and, you know, for, you know, subsequent years to come, right? I guess our strength right now is how we go about the messaging within the community to show where the needs are and how they can be met with fundings that are made available by these VCs in the cloud, which is the community. I guess that's where my mind is right now. Sorry.
No, and I'm curious about that because like coming from different blockchain ecosystems, and I get what you're saying that that right now, you know, probably specifically, I guess all three entities can be considered custodians for the technology, and it's a decentralized technology. Fair enough, they started it. You know, fair. You know, just like Vitalik does not own Ethereum, and even though he can fund whatever project he wants to fund on Ethereum, what Ethereum is becoming has absolutely nothing to do with Vitalik. You know, it's kind of taken on a life of its own, and you have people who have brilliant ideas that see value in blockchain technology and smart contracts are building on Ethereum, and that's kind of how I look at Cardano. You know, and like I look at Charles and IOG and Emergo is a development arm or business development arm, and the foundation is you know, basically actually I'm not wholly, you know, sure exactly what their role is going to be in the future. And then you have IOG, which is another, you know, I mean, they, you know, started the blockchain and they've been contracted to build out the blockchain or, you know, to complete the project. But in the future, it's not going to look like that. I mean, it's not, you know, possibly there could be another group other than IOG in the future that's actually making updates to the protocol because the community itself is going to be able to vote on who they want making updates to the protocol. So I think about it like that way. Like to me, it's just a piece of technology. And there's some people that started the technology, but where we take the technology is wherever we want to take it. If AfroFinLab wanted to start a Catalyst fund, we could, and we could probably get venture, because basically Catalyst is a venture capital fund, right? That's a decentralized venture capital fund, and that's something that we could create as well. That would, you know, maybe even rival what's happening in Catalyst. So believe you me, I am not saying anything about what has been created so far, because I think what Cardano has done with the people who have created Cardano, what they've done is absolutely amazing. It's mind blowing what they've been able to create, and at the same time, I recognize that they don't own it. You know, they created it; it's not theirs.
Dude,
Yeah.
I want to go back to your metaphor. Like when you go to a grocery store, for example, you're not like walking around thinking about how grateful you are for the roads, right? We don't think about the infrastructure that got things from point A to point B. And so one of the best case scenarios maybe is the general public, more people recognizing Liquid as the people who deliver on some of these promises than
exactly.
any of the existing institutions, right? And Liquid knows that it's going to have these rails to thank, but that might be enough. And that's the whole spirit of a decentralized project, right? Is as soon as possible, there's more than just the founders of the project contributing to it. And, you know, it's wild to be in this position of wanting the value of an investment to go up as an investor, but also like wanting it to wait. Like I don't like every day I'm like grateful that the massive run hasn't started yet, because the longer it takes for that to happen, the more time we have to get more people involved. Because once this thing happens, my biggest fear for 2021 is just that it doesn't change anything, right? Like these ADA tokens could be worth a heck of a lot more than they are right now. And we could be living in the same exact broken world that we're living in right now, right?
But James, I just want to jump. I just want to while you're saying that we get to do that though, right? Because what is it? What is it? Why Yearn Finance is way more valuable than Ethereum. So even though Ethereum is the the utility token for the protocol, there are applications on top of the protocol where the token itself is worth more than the token on the core protocol. So like that's the thing. We get to do that. We get to generate that value. ADA is going to have its value because in order to use the system, you need you need ADA. But like what we can build, which is what I feel that we're doing right now, we can build a token in a sense that outpaces the value of an ADA, and we get to at some level determine how that's like distributed, and who gets a chance to participate in that.
Yo, I want to go just like, I love the way you're saying we get to do this, right? And it's also our responsibility to do this. Anybody who's heard about this has a choice whether they sit back passively or they contribute to this work that's being done, right? So I think the responsibility is to bring as many people in who say it exactly like you said, Sydney. We get to do this. Oh my gosh, what an opportunity. Can you believe we're living at this point in history where we get to do this thing? That's the work. That's the work of the next few months.
So I believe, am I muted? No, sorry. So I believe that we are going to get there, right? All that as Sydney you are saying is, it's true. It's whatever we make of anything, whether it's Bitcoin or it's Ethereum or it's Cardano or whatever token we ourselves decide to create. At this point, however, like Bitcoin hasn't got what Cardano has, in terms of, I mean, for me personally, not only do I really am I amazed at Cardano's protocol, but this governance layer on top of that, whereby people can actually access money and actually, make use of that money in places like Africa, in West Africa. On top of that, a lot of the messaging that has come out of Cardano has been being a bank for the unbanked. So they do, at least in principle, have that messaging that this is what we want to do. And that is the reason that I came into Cardano. I didn't end up in Ethereum or in Bitcoin, right? So it is just what Cardano has, and the network effect in Cardano, the kind of technology that is there and the kind of people that are there and the fact that they have this. So, if Ethereum, had been like, Cardano is today, with the same sort of rising governance layer, I might have ended up in there and I would have been making use of Ether or whatever to try and build. At this point, I think that our best bet in terms of really penetrating Africa. And you know what Josh was saying is totally true. Like right now, there's some energy and some blossoming that is, you know, like it's just this pent up energy that is waiting to be released. But all that I'm saying is that right now there is that opportunity, and I feel like Cardano has the best chance to give us that opportunity in terms of penetrating into Africa at this point.
Yeah, well said.
If you think about it, like you know, first generation blockchain like Bitcoin, not everybody has like the opportunity to actually build on Bitcoin, you know, but on Cardano, you really can build on Cardano if you want to. You don't really need to have all the expertise as a software developer. You can just, you know, get like-minded people together, and then you guys can write a proposal and allows for you to build whatever you want to build, whatever solution. I feel that's like it's one of the greatest opportunity or one of the best things about Cardano, right? This project Catalyst funding, you literally can see a problem and write up a proposal to solve that problem and get the funds. That is huge.
So Josh, how is that different from any other VC fund? Because you can do this, and I'm really asking because I want to understand. I really do, because like for me, you know, it is about Africa. I mean, I love the technology, but you know, my experience in life and where I am, and my experience growing up in the Metro Detroit area, and what I've seen around the world with people with dark skin and how they've been treated, and the expectations of people with darker skin, that's totally false. And even the lies that have been told about, you know, who we are, and what we've contributed, you know, those things are like, it's like this to me, this is an important moment in time, you know, just so those things can be changed, those ideas can be changed. Because I think about these little, you know, these young, and in general across the world, you know, humanity in general, you know, evolving is very important. But I see these darker skinned little boys and girls who have imagination too. And it may not be imagination that extends from a Western ideology. You know, I mean, you look at some of the things they've accomplished, you know, in science and in, you know, athletics and in entertainment. These are not like their accomplishments took advantage of the rails that were created for them to be able to express themselves, but their expression is unique. You know, they oftentimes do things where you're like, whoa, that was cool. You know what I mean? But there's only a small group of young, you know, darker boys and girls that get a chance to express that. But like, I know the communities I grew up in, everybody had that. And maybe one or two was fortunate enough to, you know, I don't know, finish college or whatever, you know, and to be able to express that. So I think about it from that perspective, like it's an important, because that happens for other cultures, you know, the Jewish culture, or you know, you know, just different cultures that they support their own that way. They support failure. But I know, like in my culture, if you fail, that might be it. You know what I mean? You don't have the same.
You don't get do-overs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get do-overs. You got to be much better than everybody else just to.
Sydney, just Tashoma, just before you come in, Sydney, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Oh dear. It's a
showdown. Here we go. You had to call me out.
So Sydney, you know, like I have heard of VC, you know, like VC funds, right? And
right.
I have never, and maybe I don't know whether it's just back to what Claire was saying yesterday. I'm sorry, last week about women, and you know, we don't have that confidence. But I have never felt that I am qualified or, you know, to go and access those VC funds. So, okay, the question I want to ask you, this is how I want to put you on the spot. Just name for me just 1, 2, or 3 VC funds that promises what Cardano and the Catalyst Fund is promising now, or the potential that it has now.
You mean as far as value, being able to contribute value to a project?
In terms of spreading, you know, like spreading adoption, blockchain adoption in Africa, in West Africa.
Well, so I
Because
look at
that's what we
you
are
as
talking
doing that.
about,
I look
right?
at right. I look at WADA is doing that. Where WADA gets its money from is like it doesn't matter to me. I mean, whether it comes from the Catalyst Fund or wherever, it does not matter to me at all. All I care is that WADA is able to fulfill its vision. Because, like I said to you many times before, that is absolutely a vision that I champion and I support and pray for and all of that good stuff. So
Absolutely.
as far as specific funds, VC funds. Let me see. There's LeBron James Harden. Who else? I mean, I'm calling out entertainers, but these are folks. So when you have that type of money, you have to put it somewhere. You can't stick it in the bank. They will never spend the type of money that they have. They have to find investments for tax purposes, and in order to get a return on their money, because we all know that one of the reasons that blockchain is so popular is because fiat currency is devaluing as I'm talking to you right now. So they have to do that when they have those type of funds. There's just not any good projects out there for them to support. They got a bunch of family members coming saying, hey, dude, I want to do this, or I want to do that, or I want to do the other thing. But there's nothing that that I don't think people are taking projects like WADA to them where they get to support something that they know is necessary, which is because they support it in their own right, with creating schools in small communities or however they spend their money, or they volunteer in the community. But if you tell them, hey, this is connecting, this is making you whole, this is lifting the African and the diaspora, and we need. I mean, they just offered James Harden like $50 million a year to play basketball, and these folks, they have money and they're willing to do it. So I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. Like Catalyst is going to be one source of funding, but there are people that have gained success in the diaspora and on the continent, that are looking for places to put their money that they can help the race become more. We want to become more, and I think the world wants us to become more.
I mean, look at what Akon is doing at the moment in Senegal, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point you're making there, Sydney. Like, let's not think of IOHK as the African savior. Like, they're not gonna push the majority of adoption that needs to happen on the continent. It's gonna be people like us who are involved in the early stages who will hopefully bring in more people. That's
Exactly.
the whole point of AfroFinLab. This is why we are here, because we want to be those people to bring that wider adoption, right? So it's just a case of fulfilling our intentions, what we set out to do, not relying on any one source to do that, because this is supposed to be decentralized as it is. It's just at this stage though, I feel like Cardano is doing a good job in terms of the crypto community. I mean,
I agree.
The amount of representation I found in the Cardano community as opposed to other blockchain communities, I mean, I'm impressed. And then, on top of that, I just feel that they should be focusing on layer one initiatives. So, just making sure that the blockchain works correctly and that it's able to scale and offer all the services that we are supposed to build on top of it. In terms of pushing it and being the face of adoption in Africa, leave it to us.
I agree. And there's that whole aspect of it. It's like good tech fades to the background, right? And Cardano is great tech.
Right.
It's gonna fade to the backdrop. They're gonna have, app devs like Liquid and different protocols coming up that are gonna create experiences on top of Cardano, hopefully to the point where the end user doesn't even know they're using Cardano, right? The famous example is the New Balance when they did that integration. The New Balance, I think they called it the real chain. You didn't even realize you were using Cardano. If you were just a sneakerhead that went into the shoe store in LA, you just got this, this digital card basically that you could scan and tap. It had an RFID and it connected to a virtual wallet almost. And then you had your identification and it was all tied to metadata basically on the blockchain. So you don't have to even know you're using Cardano to have a really cool, app for verification or identity or something like that. It's all tech that can fade into the backdrop. It's up to app developers and builders to, build that experience, what that UX UI looks like. That's where we come into the picture.
Absolutely.
Yo, guys, we have to wrap it up now. We've got to wrap up. That's over the 45 minutes. It's just supposed to be a nice Christmas special. I think everyone said their piece here. I'm going to clock out. Thank you so much for, sticking with this for the past 6 months. Hey, guys, that's a huge pat on the back here. That we've achieved a lot. Let's do 2 times that in the new year. All right. Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Cheers. Stay safe, everyone.
See you soon.
Take care.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.